In maroon from head to toe, going right to left. Dartmouth white jerseys with green vertical pinstripes, white shorts, white socks, going left to right. AJ Cuccinata kicks off, and we are underway from Burnham Field. Jordan, the big elephant in the room for this Dartmouth team, yes, Coach O'Shaughnessy has made a few changes on his own free will, but he is down two first-years tonight, both Rafael Apong-Owusu and Panayotis Karayorgis are serving their one-match suspensions for their red cards against UConn last Friday.
Yeah, and those are two really good players you do not want to lose if you're the Big Green, but obviously NCAA rules, you get two yellows, it equals a red, which means an ejection, so you always serve a one-game suspension. So it's going to be interesting to see how Dartmouth does, but this game for Dartmouth is a next man up mentality.
Alec Hughes' first shot attempt sails well wide of the near post. You should expect to see him involved early and often, as is the case when you're on a goal-scoring streak like he is, but fortunately, Dartmouth handled his first attack well.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna want to apply consistent pressure on Alec Hughes. 7 goals in his 4-goal streak.
Matt Sense penetrates the 18-yard box, but his effort right at Delos, his first collegiate save, comes just under 80 seconds into the match.
Yeah, definitely wasn't an easy save. Definitely a hard shot there by the Minutemen, but a great save by him for his first collegiate save. First of many.
Dartmouth will play out from the back. Baltinson lays it off Wilson. Wanted the through ball back for Baltinson, but it's easily dealt with by the UMass defense. Wilson once more, heavy touch, and Cuccinata clears. We all know about UMass's attacking options, but Dartmouth is sport for choice along the front line as well. Trenton Blake, 8 points in his first 4 matches. He's not in the starting lineup tonight. He'll be used as a super sub. UMass gets the takeaway, through ball, Alec Hughes, and just like that, UMass takes the early lead. Matt Sense set it up, and Alec Hughes converts the first true scoring chance of the match.
Make it 5 straight games with a goal now for Alec Hughes. He had a hat trick a few games ago against UMass Lowell, and here early, not even just under 3 minutes into this game, Alec Hughes adds another one. That is 8 goals in his last 5 games. You can't really be much better than that.
Another misplay in Dartmouth's own end. That was their big killer on Michael Suski's game winner last Friday against UConn. And history repeats itself at Burnham Field. Early on in the first half, UMass takes advantage of an opportunity that was gifted to them. For Hughes, already goal number 8, 17 points. And that last goal now puts him second all-time my apologies. He is now 3rd all-time in UMass history in points. And his 43rd goal puts him 5 away from the program lead in that regard.
Alex Hughes comes in with a lot of experience this season, obviously, right, as you mentioned, where he is in the point standings here. An UMass history for the program. Comes in as a 5th year out of Glastonbury, Connecticut. So definitely the experience UMass wanted back for this season. And really early on, he's continuing to show what he has done in all his years here in the program.
Throughout his last 5 matches, he scored multiple goals in 2 games. You saw his winner against Yale. He also scored the game-tying goal. He also had a hat trick against UMass Lowell. And if he can pick up his 3rd multi-goal game in the last 5, he would take over 2nd place for program history in points. UMass feels a lot more comfortable early, and I'm sure Hughes' goal will give them so much more confidence going forward. Here they gear up for another attack. We're not even 5 minutes in. Aiden Kelly delivers the long throw, easily dealt with by the first wave of Dartmouth defenders. Body goes down, and Kelly finds himself on the ball. Wilson tracks back defensively, and now Dartmouth has a play, perhaps with Baltinson to counter. But Matt Sense hustles back, and Dartmouth can't take advantage of having Baltinson in space.
Still really early in this game, but Dartmouth really can't get the ball into their attacking end of the
Andrew
pitch.
Ortiz through for Hughes. Delos makes the kick save. Needed to be alert off his line, otherwise UMass would have had their second goal, still under 5 minutes gone by.
So far, just under 5 minutes into this first half, this game has all been UMass in terms of possession. Dartmouth can't get the ball to the other side of the pitch. It's been all UMass, and here comes another great opportunity for the Minutemen to get an insurance goal on the board.
It's Matt Sense to deliver the in-swinging corner. Lifted in towards the edge of the 6, and Kelly could not get his header on target, and he is slow to get up. May have just taken a knock on the head as he tried to flick that ball on, but fortunately he looks okay as he gets back into his center back position. Now the Minutemen press as Dartmouth play out from the back. Fed. A couple of bodies run into each other, but Vargas comes away with the ball. Backside pressure, Leighton Purchase, the Stanford transfer. But for the moment, Dartmouth weave their way out of it. Alexi Uno. On the near side, Oscar Magnuson. Still, UMass gives Dartmouth no time on the ball to do anything. Interception Sense from inside the 6-yard box. Delos makes the save, but Hughes is there on the rebound. Not even 6 minutes in at Burnham Field, Alec Hughes has his brace.
We talked about him pregame. There's not much more you could say about him. Alec Hughes, 2 goals in just under 6 minutes into this game. No better start if you're the Minutemen, and an even better start if you're Alec Hughes.
This is a dream start for UMass. Their press has forced 2 mistakes in Dartmouth's half of the pitch. That last one inside the 18-yard box. And Hughes scores a striker's goal. Right place, right time on the rebound.
Great original save by Delos, but unfortunately Alec Hughes was standing by for a possible rebound, and he got that second opportunity and buries it into the back of the net.
Delos found himself in great position, at least on the initial save, and he turned it aside, but just couldn't get enough on it with his right foot to keep it away from Hughes. Now Dartmouth finds themselves really up against it early on in the first half.
Yeah, and obviously it's still early in the season, but so far in the games for Dartmouth, they haven't fallen behind this quickly before. They went down 2-0 at one point against UConn, but it was not this early. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Big Green are able to kind of try to bounce back from this early deficit.
As for UMass, they are a team that are really feeling themselves right now. They've won each of their last 3. 2 of those wins have been by 1 goal. Now they find themselves ahead on another Ivy League opponent. Magnuson played a tantalizing cross towards the back post. Baltinson couldn't find the end of it. And
as we mentioned in the pregame, the Minutemen are coming into this game against Dartmouth, another Ivy League school. 2-0 so far against Ivy League opponents, with wins against Brown and Yale. So no better start if you're the Minutemen here against another Ivy League school, already up 2-0, 8 minutes into this one.
Meanwhile, in his chase for history, Alec Hughes has just tied Mike Butler for second place in program history in career points. They both have 96. And in terms of career goals, Hughes is now 4 behind Jeff Darren for the program lead in that category. He's showing exactly why he was voted the A10 Offensive Player of the Year in back-to-back seasons, as well as a third-team All-American a season ago. Magnuson fouled. Purchase came in late, and Hughes kicks the ball away in frustration. That forces a stoppage of the clock.
He's also the reigning A10 Offensive Player of the Week the last 2 weeks. So, and as you mentioned, he's been A10 Offensive Player of the Year, and he's showing why he could once again win A-10 Offensive Player of the Week.
Well, he scored 9 goals in his last 5 matches, and 3 of them have been multi-goal performances. Jordan, you mentioned the hat trick against UMass Lowell in the Open. If he wasn't the Offensive Player of the Week, I would be very shocked. Finn Callahan lost it at midfield, falls for Mike Willis, but his clearance clangs off of Magnuson. Now how does Dartmouth respond? You're down 2 goals, not even 10 minutes in, but there's still plenty of match to mount a comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. Start early in this game, not even 10 minutes into this one. Yes, you are down 2-0, but there's a lot of time in soccer. There's 90 minutes to play. And who knows, Dartmouth gets that next goal, you never know what could happen next. Dartmouth gets a goal, the momentum changes into their favor. So if you're Dartmouth, you keep your head up, you keep playing your game.
And Andrew Ortiz handball results in a Dartmouth free kick. They've had their issues playing out of the back. UMass's press has directly turned into 2 goals. Shane Velez goes down. Uno commits the foul, and UMass has a free kick from about 35 yards out. Alec Hughes is responsible for both goals through the first 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And if he were to bag a hat trick, it would come with plenty of historical ramifications, not to mention it would be his second in 2024 alone. Sense whips this ball into the box. Dartmouth deals with it, and Callahan completes the clearance. Vargas can't get a touch to it. And a Dartmouth slip allows UMass a throw-in. Hughes still has quite a ways to go to catch Jeff Darren for the all-time program lead in points. He's closing in on his goal record, but Darren also has 113 points, and for the moment, Hughes only has 96. So he's still motivated for personal reasons, since his snapshot twists wide.
If he keeps this trend up, I mean, it's tough to keep it going as long, but it'll be interesting to see how long he gets to keep this point streak, this goal streak alive. But he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to get to that point total in no time.
He did score 15 goals, 31 points last season, so it's not at all out of the question, and it's definitely something that this UMass program will monitor the rest of the way. Chris Giglio airs it back towards the edge of the Dartmouth 18. But the Big Green deal with it, and they look to counter. Orette Main overhits Fed. He slips, and his clearance gives Dartmouth a little bit of breathing room for the moment. Alec Hughes. Sense already 2 assists today. The through ball snuffed out. Vargas goes down, and Dartmouth draws a foul.
The Big Green back line that has been strong all season long can't get the ball out of their own zone. It keeps allowing UMass to keep attacking the first-year goaltender, Delos.
Even up 2 goals, UMass refuses to take their foot off the gas. They press relentlessly and force another turnover. Shane Velez through the middle of the park. Tees it up, but can't direct his effort goalwards. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. UMass has given Dartmouth fits while possessing in their own end. Callahan feeds his co-captain Fed. Weaves through a couple of UMass players, but can't evade Giglio. But an errant touch allows the Big Green possession once more. Magnon. One touch passing as Magnon races it down towards his own corner flag. Baltinson. Into space, Callahan. He finds the runner on the far side, Wilson. Wilson towards Baltinson. Kelly got ahead on it. Collision at the goal line. And Baltinson fouls the UMass goalkeeper, Alex Gatesy.
The best opportunity for the Big Green so far. Unfortunately, Baltinson made contact with a goaltender in the box.
Get another look at that last foul. Gatesy clearly got both fists to that ball. Baltinson a fraction of a second late timing his jump.
Yeah, Baltinson obviously had to make that move. He had obviously tried to get the goal into the back of the net, tried to head it in. Unfortunately, as you said, Ryan, he was just a tad second late.
That capped off a really nice Dartmouth move. That's what happens when you beat the press. You stretch out the defense, and you have a lot of space to operate. Fenton's clearance hits Fed, but UMass can't turn that into an attack. Raul Vargas on the far side. Battling for space. Dartmouth wins a throw-in. Dartmouth is finally starting to get some semblance of possession on UMass's half of the field. But down 2-0, not even 15 minutes gone by at Burnham Field. Can they take a bite into their deficit? Magnon. Dartmouth works it across their back line. It's Fenton. Senses a fraction of a second late on his challenge, and Dartmouth have a free kick. Our head referee is Adam Kilpatrick. Dartmouth tried to go quick on that free kick, but he forced them back to the original spot of the foul. Dartmouth wanted to take advantage of a quick free kick by gaining an extra 10 yards in the process.
And that's the gamesmanship you always see in the soccer world.
Willis through the middle, perfectly placed on Hughes' left foot. Cuts it onto his right, but there's Fenton to get in the way of the shot and Hughes' potential hat trick. Wilson can't escape A.J. Cuccinata, but it deflects off his right shin, and a Dartmouth throw-in is upcoming.
Great job by Fenton deflecting that shot by Hughes, as that looked like that one was going towards the net, possibly his third goal of the game already.
Errant touch. UMass comes away with possession, but an errant pass finds Fed. Vargas cuts inside. Surveying the pitch, he has Baltinson. Took too heavy of a touch, and Gatesy comes out to collect. Gatesy hasn't been tested that much early on. That his first true involvement against the run of play. But he has been rock solid in goal. UMass's attack takes a lot of the plaudits, and rightfully so, but Gatesy has been a rock in net. Already 3 clean sheets. 2 of them in the first 2 matches. There's the UMass press once more to nearly force a Dartmouth own goal, but they'll settle for a corner kick instead.
Yeah, almost another miscommunication there on the Big Greens. Unfortunately, the ball just went wide of the net.
You get another look. There's Hughes applying pressure against Uno. Willis floats the corner in, but Purchase can't put it on frame. Just a tad high.
Alec Hughes continuing to apply all the pressure he can. Even though he has 2 goals already, he does not want to stop at just 2, and you can say the same for this whole UMass team so far. They want to get as many goals as they can right now in this first half.
Delas gives it away. Matt Sentz pokes it forward for Velez. Takes a deflection at the back post. Dartmouth clears their lines. Uno gets there ahead of Willis. But UMass keep the pressure on. A corner kick.
And if you're the Big Green, you never want to give up a corner, but that was the best thing you could have done in that situation, just kick it out of bounds, especially with a wide open net on the left side for the Minutemen.
Sentz floats it in. Purchase was his target, but Dartmouth intervened. Their clearance only as far as Willis tries his luck from just inside the 18, but no dice. This is what happens when you give a team confidence. They feel more and more comfortable putting balls on net. And if Willis had found the back of the net, that goal is on SportsCenter. Vargas loses out. Purchase the other way. No look pass for Velez, and it's 3-0. UMass finds the back of the net with flair. Shane Velez scores his third goal this season. 3-0, UMass leads Dartmouth.
The Minutemen continuing to apply all the pressure they can, now up 3 goals and not even halfway through this first half. Velez, a sophomore defender out of Percy, Pennsylvania, gets another goal on the season.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you won't see too many better assists than that. It takes a lot of confidence to pull something like that off in a match, and what a way to pick up your first assist as a UMass Minuteman. Dartmouth back on the ball in UMass's half. Through the middle, Baltinson couldn't get on the end of that originally, and an errant UMass clearance ends up in the hands of their goalkeeper, Gatesy. Things have not gone Dartmouth's way through the first 19 minutes. 3 goals, 2 of which belong to their superstar striker, Alec Hughes. Before Shane Velez, we talked about him a little bit early on as well. He now has 7 points. Chris Gilio. Wanted Velez, but a nicely timed challenge as Uno gets a foot to it, but Dartmouth can't clear their lines.
This UMass team has so much depth entering this matchup here on Burnham Field tonight. We mentioned Alec Hughes, and we've mentioned him so far a lot during this first half, but it's not just Alec Hughes that can score, as Shane Velez got that goal, that third goal right there.
UMass gears up for the long throw. Gilio serves it in, but he can't escape Uno. Ortiz's header right at Magnuson. UMass has to retreat. Dartmouth plays a brilliant through ball. Wilson on the other end. Tries his luck with his right, but UMass's defense got back. Attack still not over. Magnuson cuts on to his left. Callahan. Back for Magnuson. That pass hit the referee and play stops. Our head official, Adam Kilpatrick, found himself in the middle of the action.
Yeah, good luck. There's some good pressure there by the Big Green, but all credit still goes to that UMass back line, not allowing a shot on goal.
Ortiz. Sense wanted Velez, but too much on it. Delos comes out from inside his own 6-yard box to get on the other end. Just over 20 minutes in at Burnham Field, UMass leads Dartmouth 3-0 in a match that has been decided by Dartmouth's miscues possessing in their own end. Still plenty of match left. Crazier comebacks have happened in the sport of soccer, but Dartmouth will need to figure out how to play the ball with UMass pressuring them. Callahan. Main darts through traffic. His only option, the right back, Uno. Callahan cuts inside. Baltinson has space. Vargas through the middle wanted Wilson, but the pass well behind him and into touch. Dartmouth have had some opportunities to go forward, Jordan, but it always feels like there's something missing in it. A misplayed pass, an errant cross, something. We'll see if they can get it right this time. Callahan towards the edge of the 18. Vargas back for Callahan, just wide. UMass may have gotten a touch. The head referee signals a Dartmouth corner, their first of the match.
I think that was the first shot attempt that Dartmouth has had. It did go wide. I don't know who it deflected off of. As we'll look at the replay.
Really nice 1-2 there between Callahan and Vargas.
It looks like that ball would deflected off of Fordham there too. So great job deflecting it there. Big corner coming up for the Big Green, down by 3 though.
Whipped in towards the near post, but it touches the top of the net, out of play. Dartmouth can't turn their first corner of the match into anything, and UMass can organize their attack. Just over 22 minutes remaining. We're just over halfway home in the first half. UMass 3, Dartmouth 0. Alec Hughes responsible for each of the first 2 before Shane Velez tallied his 3rd goal of the 2024 campaign. Fed. Into space, Fenton. He goes 1-2 with Vargas. Or check that, Wilson. Magnuson as Dartmouth completes the switch. Fed has room. Corner kick upcoming.
Another deflection there by Dartmouth. They're starting to get more opportunities here as we're halfway through the first half. They're still down by 3, but the big thing for Dartmouth now is they're getting all these opportunities now to try to get at least 1 back in this half.
Fed crossed his arms to signal perhaps Dartmouth's set piece routine. Here it comes. Nobody there at the near post in white, but Dartmouth will have another corner. Back to the bag of tricks for Fed. What else can Dartmouth pull off from the training ground? They go towards the middle of the 6. Gatesy had to be alert, and he punches with his right over the crossbar.
Technically the first save by Gatesy too. Punching it out of the air. 3rd straight corner kick coming up for the Big Green.
They try the far post. Fenton directs it goalward. Dartmouth wants a handball instead. It's a UMass goal kick.
Some good opportunities there by the Big Green on those 3 corners, which is what you want to do if you're Dartmouth. You want to create the opportunities. You're down 3. So any opportunity that comes is a big thing at this point. But UMass has done a great job at stopping any chance of a goal for the Big Green.
Fed delivered 3 good balls. Perhaps that's a sign of things to come for a Dartmouth attack that has been held relatively quiet early on. Wilson. Not much on the cross. And the ball ends up at the foot of Gatesy. Still no subs for either side, but both head coaches, Fran O'Leary for UMass and Bo O'Shaughnessy on the Dartmouth touchline, do have bodies warming up. Again, keep in mind, Dartmouth are 2 players short tonight. Freshman defender Panayotis Karayorgis and freshman midfielder Rafael Apong Owusu both unavailable tonight due to suspension.
And we talked about how important both of those players have been for the Big Green so far, and you can really see it here.
That's the after effect of 2 late red cards in a match you were chasing last Friday. Now you're unavailable for a UMass squad that is capable of doing serious damage. We've already seen that 3 separate times tonight. By the way, they're just over halfway to their goal total from last year. They had 31 goals in all of 2023. Velez's last tally was their 16th this year. Uno's header finds the charging Willis, but there is Fed to poke the ball off his feet.
You can't ask for a better start to the season on the offensive side if you're UMass. Already halfway to what their goal total was last year, and they haven't even hit the conference season yet.
James Wilson showed off the nifty footwork to earn a Dartmouth throw on UMass's half of the pitch.
Now, if my math doesn't fail me, if that was their 16th goal of the year, they would be averaging 4 goals a game.
I'm trying to do the math on the fly.
I just did too.
It's 16 and 7, so not quite.
Oh yeah, that's true. This is their 7th game.
Math is hard. It's been a few years since I graduated. Fed swings it wide for Magnuson. Cuts it onto his left and slips. And there's Purchase to clean it up for UMass as they move forward. Arette Main tracks back. Can't dispossess Velez. UMass is telling Mike Willis to switch. Couldn't get his head up in time. And it leads to Main knocking Velez to the ground. Free kick upcoming. Check that. Throw-in upcoming for Dartmouth. UMass thought they were about to take a free kick. Fed completes the switch as Hughes chases down Fenton. The sliding challenge keeps the ball in Dartmouth's end, but still big green possession. 16:25 remains in the first half. It has been all UMass early on. All 3 of their goals have come within the first 20 minutes, and it just feels like they have had an answer for everything Dartmouth has thrown at them. Vargas heaves it ahead for Fed. Magnuson has time and space and elects to play back for Maine. James Wilson. 1-2 with Callahan, too much on it. There is the captain, Matt Fordham, to make the interception and the clearance. UMass's defense hasn't been talked about all that much tonight, but when they've needed to make plays, they have. And it's turned into some attacks. Here is Hughes once more. Magnon there to help cut him down. Uno in the area as well. Hughes could not direct that shot goalward. And that goal kick, the ensuing goal kick, will come following a Dartmouth double sub.
And you can see the speed that Alec Hughes has on that attacking on the shot. Obviously he missed the net, but he burned the Dartmouth back line there and got a wide open shot opportunity.
2 attacking-minded changes for the Big Green. Christian Fed and Oscar Magnuson make way as Marios Georgis and Cameron Brain, a pair of underclassmen, both forwards, make their first appearances tonight. And there is Brain. Sens skillfully knocks the ball forwards. Into the 18 he goes, his cross deflected into touch. And UMass have another corner. The majority of UMass's chances have come in transition, not quite counterattacks, as they've won the ball time and time again in Dartmouth's end, but they are so quick. Willis whips it in. Delos bumped coming off his line. And a foul called against Hughes. He was grappling with Fenton. Less than 14 minutes remain in the first half. UMass 3, Dartmouth 0. The Big Green in need of something to go their way. Fordham uses a chop turn to get away from Finn Callahan. Gilio wanted Velez over the top, but Uno the closest to it, and he elects to play Delos with his feet. UMass closes in. Brain overruns it. It falls for Giglio. Purchase. Brain gets back. Excellent work to make up for his mistake. And Dartmouth throws bodies forward. Uno. Magnon. Nearly another misplay as Delas was breaking towards his far post. The pass came towards the center of net, but Delas recovered, and Dartmouth may be able to break out. Marios Georgis. Low cross, can't evade Giglio. Deft touch from Willis as he completes the clearance.
UMass has set the pace early with Alec Hughes' first goal here tonight, and now Dartmouth is trying to match the pace that UMass came out with. And overall, it seems to be working a little bit. Dartmouth still trying to find that first goal, but Dartmouth able to start creating opportunities.
And now they're playing with so much confidence. They feel like they can do anything on the ball. And we've seen a few Minutemen pull off some nice skill moves in their own end. Matt Fordham and Mike Willis in particular. The UMass press forces another turnover, but Willis gives it right back. That's a tantalizing through ball. Wilson runs onto the other end, but Gatesy there to make a kick save. And he gets to the rebound before Vargas. Alert goalkeeping there from Gatesy. Wilson was through, but the netminder made a big save to preserve the first half clean sheet.
Yeah, big save for Gatesy there. Even though it was a 3-goal game, you obviously never want to give up a goal. That was a great save by Gatesy there to keep Dartmouth scoreless so far in this first half.
Vargas ahead for Wilson. Through the middle, out of Baltinson's range. And there is Gatesy to clean it up. Now you're seeing Dartmouth move down the field with more confidence. They're stringing passes together, and they're taking more risks.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will tend to happen once you go down by a couple goals. In this case, they're down 3. So Dartmouth they don't want to be careless with the ball, but at the same time, you kind of want to be more urgent, as you said, Ryan. They're playing with more urgency. They're taking more risk, which at this point is what Dartmouth has to do.
Sense wanted Hughes, but Magnon's clearance falls for Velez. Here is Hughes. That fizzles wide of goal. That's what Alec Hughes does. He makes something out of nothing, and he was not far off from completing his first half hat trick.
No, he wasn't. You kind of see the frustration by him. Even though he has 2 goals in this half, he's really had a great opportunity to add possibly 2 more in just in this first half alone.
UMass takes the opportunity to sub. Andrew Ortiz exits as Aaron O'Malley is the first addition off the bench for Fran O'Leary's squad. O'Leary himself a former Dartmouth head coach, albeit over 20 years ago. Spent 7 years coaching at Burnham Field from 1994 to 2000. Took the Big Green to the NCAA tournament in his final season before departing for George Mason. Has had a couple of coaching stops since then, including 2 years as an assistant coach with Toronto FC and MLS. But he's made UMass his home since 2015, and in just 8 seasons and change, he is the 3rd winningest head coach in program history. Double sub upcoming for Dartmouth. Simeon Hagioryu and Ben Jenkins enter the fray. Raul Vargas and Eider Baltinson, the subtractions. Head coach Bo Oshani has to make some changes to his 11. They've had some chances, but not enough sustained pressure to keep up with UMass's offensive firepower. He's just in need of something to click.
And there's still plenty of time. Obviously, 8.5 minutes left in this half. You still have a whole nother 45 minutes to play. Dartmouth has been getting the opportunities as we talk about, but as you said, Ryan, they can't keep up the continuous pressure like UMass has been able to do.
Callahan surveys. Brain. Uno calls for options. His best, the center back, Orette Main. An errant pass allows UMass to pressure further into Dartmouth's end. Delos looks comfortable on his feet, but Fenton tried to get the touchline. Gave UMass enough time to recover, and they've got a throw in to show for it. Under 8 minutes left in the first half, UMass's offense has been clinical in front of goal, and they are searching for that fourth tally in the first half. Fordham long throw into the box. Maine the first to it. O'Malley reinserts at the edge of the 18, but Dartmouth deals with it easily. Just one statistical note, maybe of value in the final 7 minutes of the first half. UMass has scored 4 goals in a half before. Unsurprisingly, they did so in the first half of their 7-1 drubbing of in-state rival UMass Lowell. Dartmouth commits a clumsy foul. UMass is in good position for a free kick. Jordan, what are you thinking in this spot?
I mean, you can see how aggressive UMass still is with the pressure. I mean, every throw-in they've had, they aim right at the box. You don't really see that a lot in throw-ins at this point, but even with UMass up 3-0, they have their foot on the gas pedal still, and I don't really see any stop to that. So they're definitely going to go to the goal here.
Sense and Willis the options for this free kick. Willis drives it in over the head of Velez. Just mistimed his run, and Dartmouth can take a sigh of relief. 2 subs coming on for UMass in the meantime. Ivan Ver and Joey Bianco replace Leighton Purchase and Shane Velez. Both players have found the score sheet tonight. Velez 1 goal, Purchase 1 assist, and they'll get a high five from their boss, Fran O'Leary, as they make their way to the bench. Play stops. There's a Dartmouth player down, and our head official, Adam Kilpatrick, crosses his arms to signal for a clock stoppage, and it does with 5:16 remaining. Maine bore the brunt of a heavy tackle. Fortunately, he's back to his feet, and he wants to stay on.
Looks like he's okay, which is always good to see. Looks like he'll continue. Just a little shaken up.
Haven't seen all that much physicality tonight. Whenever UMass has won the ball, it hasn't been with much force. They haven't needed it. That has been their crunchiest tackle of the night. Uno. He and Brain complete a 1-2. Uno craftily evades Willis with a 360 spin. Aims for Jenkins over the top, but Fordham the first to it. Fenton. Maine. It finds Callahan. Wanted to poke it ahead for Jenkins, but the run mistimed. Dartmouth will have to restart things from midfield. On the near touchline, Georgis. Bianco intervenes on the cross. Dartmouth, though, win a throw-in.
A lot of missed timings by the Big Green attack so far in this half. Another one was right there. They had a great opportunity brewing.
Georgis breaks towards the end line. Near post cross. Easily dealt with by the UMass defense, but the clearance only as far as Wilson. Dartmouth are creeping further and further up the pitch, and with less than 4 minutes to play in the first half, they are sniffing for that first goal. Jordan, they're using a similar recipe to UMass. Their press inside of the opposing end has led to a few giveaways. Here is Jenkins. Gatesy had to be quick to it, and he got down in the blink of an eye to make the save.
Didn't have it originally. There was a little bit of urgency there, but he was able to recover and pick it back up.
I'm not sure he saw it initially, but once he located the ball, he got down quick, cat-like reflexes to make the save.
But going back to your point on how Dartmouth's attack is starting to do what we saw with UMass and creating the turnovers, is exactly what Dartmouth needs to do. As I mentioned, they want to try to match the pace that UMass came out with. And so far, over the last several minutes, they really have done that. And just the one big thing is they can't apply the continuous pressure.
The ball falls for Hughes. Still eyeing that hat trick. Sense out wide. Lofts it in near post. Delas gets his fists to it. Excellent instincts to cover his near post. Jenkins. Callahan. Hajioryu in the middle of the pitch. Dartmouth aligns their attack. UMass has numbers in defense. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Nice move, Brain. That gets a few oohs and ahs from the Dartmouth support. Their attack runs out of gas, though. UMass reorganizes defensively and clears well out of danger. Dartmouth regroups inside their own 18 with Delas. Magnon. Under 90 seconds remain in the first half. UMass's press continues to give Dartmouth fits. Jenkins sprints towards the far touchline. The referee signals an advantage play. Dartmouth switches for Georgis. At the edge of the 18, he fights for space with Giglio, and the latter wins out. UMass sees the ball over the line for a goal kick. 45 seconds left in the half. Jordan, your first half thoughts?
Obviously, UMass came out knowing what they had to do, and it was to attack early. And obviously, as we mentioned, their superstar Alec Hughes, someone they were going to target originally first. He has 2 goals, and UMass hasn't stopped putting their foot on the gas pedal yet so far, as they've tried to get an extra, but the Dartmouth backline has done a great job ever since of applying pressure on the back end to create opportunities for Dartmouth.
I can't imagine Bo Oshani will have many positive words for his team at halftime. And perhaps the Big Green will feel his wrath as we've reached halftime at Burnham Field. Alec Hughes struck twice within the first 6 minutes. And Shane Velez cashed in his 3rd goal of the season to give UMass a 3-0 advantage 45 minutes in. We'll take a short break, but first half stats are coming up next. It's UMass 3, Dartmouth 0 at halftime. This is the Ivy League on ESPN. Are crucial if Dartmouth want to mount a comeback. They have to find the back of the net soon.
Even to, but 10 to 15.
Finds himself inside the midfield circle, makes way. Callahan gets the signal from head official Adam Kilpatrick, and the second half is underway at Burnham Field, and just 6 seconds in, a whistle and a UMass free kick. Dartmouth elected to go long immediately off the kickoff. Jordan, I think that means an attacking intent is upcoming, and they need one.
Oh, definitely. They don't definitely want to attack very early. Unfortunately, they had a foul right there, so it was kind of canceled out. But I'm going to look at Dartmouth to ultimately try to create those long outlet passes in this half to see if anything changes. Because that's something we didn't really see much from Dartmouth, as we usually have seen already this season, is the long outlet pass they try to do. They haven't done much in the first half, so maybe they try to go back to that routine in the second.
A.J. Cuccinata sees the ball over the touchline. UMass is in the process of formulating their first attack of the second half. Jordan, do you think this squad needs to make any changes if they want to open their lead up any further?
Honestly, no. I think they've done a great job with getting the extra pressure, the second opportunities for UMass. They've done a really good job at doing anything they can to get the extra efforts down. I think UMass can keep things the same as they did in the first half to try to extend the lead in the second.
90 seconds into the second 45. UMass has their first corner of the half, and it's Mike Willis, the grad student, to take the in-swinger. It's drilled towards the edge of the 6. Delos feels contact, and UMass whistled for a foul.
I don't think UMass will make any changes how they attack the second half unless they see how Dartmouth comes out, because that's going to be the big thing. If they have to keep things the same or change things, it all depends on how Dartmouth is able to change things up.
UMass's press caused 3 Dartmouth giveaways that directly led to goals, and they force another one right here. Matt Sentz breezes past Jenkins inside the 18. Couldn't find a target on the other end of that cross, but Leighton Purchase runs it down. Second ball, Delos off his line and extends high in the air to pull it down. Velez was in the area, alert goalkeeping from the first year to come off his line. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but they should be fewer and further between as the match progresses. Dartmouth is on the attack. Magnuson cuts in, back on the pitch after being subbed out midway through the first half. Brain ran into traffic. Purchase got his foot to it as UMass plays Hughes through the middle, but Delos, outside of his 18-yard box, sweeps it out of the striker's way. Safe to say UMass with a 3-goal lead in tow aren't satisfied with their current lead.
Oh, definitely.
Bodies present themselves to Cuccinata as UMass restarts play. Purchase ran into Maine. And Dartmouth clears only as far as the co-captain, Aiden Kelly. Hajioryu. Excellent switch into space, Magnuson. Place to feet Callahan as Dartmouth build up from midfield. Brain, the ex-Arsenal Academy player. Magnon. Through a pair of UMass attackers, Maine. Dartmouth connecting passes in the UMass end. Here's James Wilson. His cross deflected. Can't find a white shirt. And UMass clears. Uno pressured Hughes, and Dartmouth ultimately wins the ball back. It feels just under 5 minutes into the second half. Dartmouth's defense is a lot more organized.
Yeah, definitely, which is a good thing if you're Dartmouth, because when you give up 3 goals in a half, you come out in the second half, and it's really hard to kind of have confidence going back out on the field after a 3-0 deficit. But Dartmouth's back line has done a great job at limiting the opportunities by the Minutemen in the first 5 minutes.
Fenton overran the ball, had to leave his feet to clear, but only as far as Purchase. Willis. His ball over the top deflected, and it's easy for Fenton to deal with. Callahan. Jenkins one touches it into space, and Magnuson has room to move. He goes down. Referee waves play on, and the Dartmouth attack ultimately snuffed out with Hadjioryu straying offside.
Yeah, the Big Green wanted a foul call there a few seconds before the offside. They did not get it. Because overall, these officials today have been letting both teams play, but at the same time, there hasn't really been a lot of opportunities to really draw fouls.
And neither team has gotten stuck in, to your point. No bookings and really no need for a caution. As soon as I say that, though, Aiden Kirkpatrick reverses his decision. Initially, he had signaled a free kick for UMass, but instead, it belongs to Dartmouth. Maine plays it short. Brain through two UMass players, and that results in a foul. The Big Green play quick. Wilson on the near wing. Sense easily takes it off his feet, and UMass can counter. Andrew Ortiz. Sense flicks it right back to him. But there comes Wilson tracking back. Ortiz still at work. Velez at the near post. Magnon makes a sliding intervention. Timed it perfectly to deny Velez a chance at his brace. Fordham anticipates and earns a UMass throw-in.
UMass has done great tonight of anticipating what's going to happen next. We talked about with Alec Hughes, really how he's able to anticipate what's happening next. UMass has done it all game long, and that's really what's creating all these good opportunities for them in the box.
Velez's chance, the first clear-cut one for UMass, but to borrow from hockey, not a grade A chance. Hadjioryu picks his head up and finds Magnuson on the far side. Swung in towards the edge of the six. There's Kelly. His clearance only as far as Hadjioryu. He had no time on the ball. Purchase swept it off his foot, but Dartmouth converges to take it back. Magnuson's cross. Did it skim off of Gatesy's hand?
Looks like it did.
It looks like it did. Corner kick upcoming for the Big Green, their first of the second half.
It's going to be interesting to see how Big Green attacks this, their first corner of the second half.
Wilson was in the area to take it, but the captain, Finn Callahan, calls him off. We'll see what he has in his locker. Lofted towards the penalty spot. Wilson couldn't time his header, and Willis finishes off the clearance. Only as far, though, as Cameron Brain. Callahan just outside the 18. Whips it towards the 6. Deflects off Kelly. And Wilson sees it over the end line for a corner kick.
Another corner upcoming, and we're getting to that 10 to 15 minute window we talked about for the Big Green to get that first goal. We're just under the 10-minute mark right now, 9.5 minutes into this half, and Dartmouth has their second corner of the half.
Just under 10 minutes played in the second half. Dartmouth looks like the better of the two teams. Callahan drifts it in. Uno got ahead to it, but climbed over Cucinata's back to do so, and a free kick for UMass. Whatever Bo Oshani said to his squad at halftime, it's clearly resonated. Hasn't resulted in a goal just yet, but these have been some of the best Dartmouth attacks of the match.
Yeah, and that's always good to see. Down 3 goals is always tough to come out of a half with, but the Big Green have answered the call so far. Like you said, Ryan, they have not found the back of the net, but they've done a great job at creating the extra opportunities so far.
Still a long way to go to mount a comeback. UMass's 3 goals coming in the first 20 minutes of the first half put them behind the 8 ball. But give them credit. They're still pushing. They haven't given up. They haven't checked out. And that is very encouraging for this coaching staff to see.
Yeah, this big green team still playing with a lot of confidence, which you always like to see. They feel like they're not out of it, and they're not. There's still a lot of time left. There's still 34 minutes left.
Fordham hurls the long throw into the box. Kelly flicks it on, but Dillas there to catch it off a hop at the near post. The first year slows things down. Initially looked to distribute quickly, but instead rolls short for the Ivy League honorable mention player from a season ago, Sebastian Magnon. Hagiorgi runs into Ortiz. Hughes. He's got his hat trick. He's just so comfortable with his back to goal. And it just looked so routine as he cashes in for his 10th tally of the 2024 season. 4-0 UMass.
There's nothing else you can say about him. His second hat trick of the season, as you can see. Great way to just turn around, get some extra steps, and shoot it on goal and find the back of the net. And that is how Alec Hughes has been able to get 10 goals already on the season, just stuff like that. Like you said, Ryan, he's so good at with his back to the goal. He turned right around, got some extra steps, was able to get the shot on goal. And now he has his second hat trick of the season.
You beat me to it. Got his first just 6 days ago in Amherst against UMass Lowell in that 7-1 victory. He just refuses to stop scoring. That his 10th goal this season. He's now just 5 off of his mark from a season ago, and non-conference play hasn't even ended yet.
Yeah, UMass, their next game is their first conference game of the season, and having 10 goals so far to start before even conference play starts is a big deal.
On a historic note, he's now up to 45 goals, 3 behind Jeff Darren, his program record. Points-wise, his next goal would put him at the century mark. He now owns second place on UMass's all-time career points list. He just broke a tie with Mike Butler. Everything he does this season, it comes with historical significance. And he is closing in on rewriting UMass's men's soccer record books.
And you mentioned that's something that the team is going to keep an eye on. And you said they're going to try to find Alec Hughes any chance they get. And they've been doing just that. They did it just there.
One interesting statistical thing to note, coming into this match, Hughes had played all but 20 minutes this season. We'll finish that point in just a second. Willis has sense. There is Delas. But more on Hughes. The lone 20 minutes he didn't play this season came against UMass Lowell. When he got his hat trick, head coach Fran O'Leary decided to remove him from the match to prevent injury. And we might see that again tonight. Our referee, Adam Kilpatrick, stops play for a Dartmouth injury, but fortunately not too serious. No thought for a booking on the UMass end either. The clock restarts, 31-26 remains at Burnham Field. UMass has just dominated from the opening kickoff. Alec Hughes has his hat trick. Shane Velez has added a goal himself. But they're still searching for more. Ortiz handled the ball. Free kick upcoming for Dartmouth.
And that's a big blow to the Big Green. As we talked about how they look like the better team coming out of this half. And they look like they were getting all the extra opportunities, but Alec Hughes decides to strike back. And now the deficit goes 1 goal better for the Minutemen.
We'll see how much longer Hughes lasts in the match. For the moment, he remains their striker. Sense cuts it on to his right, but can't evade Fenton, the last line of the Dartmouth defense. And they have room to counter. Orette Main. Along the grass wanted Jenkins, but there is Kelly, and he goes down hard following a strong Jenkins challenge. Nothing cynical. Perhaps a bit of frustration setting in for Dartmouth since they face their largest deficit of the season. But it didn't look like there was any ill intent from Jenkins. Wilson charges forward. Jenkins. One-on-one against O'Malley. It forces Dartmouth to play back. Callahan thought about a shot. Instead plays to the feet of Maine. Wilson take two. Tries his luck from distance. Couldn't get enough whip on that right-footed shot.
Definitely the best shot of the half for the Big Green. Unfortunately, just missed wide right.
With that, Dartmouth makes a pair of substitutions. Christian Fed re-enters, and we'll get our first look at Will Lolka. In the meantime, Orette Main and James Wilson depart. Uno. Velas couldn't make the right connection, but that ball still found its way to Callahan. Lolka runs right into Sense, but Dartmouth keeps possession with a throw-in upcoming. Lolka, not a man that plays all that much. This is his first action since playing 6 minutes off the bench in the season opener against Boston College. But with Dartmouth trailing 4-0, this is an opportunity to show his mettle and prove to head coach Bo O'Shaughnessy that he deserves minutes in Ivy League play.
Gives a chance to see what kind of players they have on the bench on the Big Green side, for sure.
Fed swings for Lolka. Left-footed cross. There is Fordham to nod it away. It falls for Magnuson. At the edge of the 18, Hadjioryu. Jenkins was in the area, but UMass swarmed him for the clearance. Long ball over the top. Fenton heads it before Hughes can get there, and he safely connects with Delas. Fed once more over the top, and he has Lolka on the other end. One-on-one against Cuccinata. Callahan. Brain. Finds Lolka at the edge of the 18. Drives it low. Fordham can only sweep it aside. Dartmouth corner.
UMass has been doing such a good job all game long at really closing the space that the Big Green attackers have, which really causes the Big Green not to really get anything going because of how quickly the Minutemen are able to close out the space.
Callahan's corner has its target found, but the header well high. Uno got into good position, but couldn't keep his shot down.
Keep them balls coming.
Well-worked routine. Despite not finding the back of the net, Dartmouth has had success generating chances from corners. Just a little over 25 minutes to play at Burnham Field. UMass 4, Dartmouth 0. but it still feels like there is potential for more goals. Purchases through ball dealt with, but UMass keeps the pressure on. Ortiz wins it back. Up ahead towards Velez, but there is Uno. Fed picks his head up. Lolka. Callahan. Back for Lolka. First time cross hits a UMass body and deflects for Callahan. Fed switches for Magnuson. Georgiou. Magnuson and Brain connect on a 1-2. Cross towards the penalty spot outside the range of Jenkins, but Lolka tracks back to keep Dartmouth on the ball. Georgiou goes short. Callahan. Georgiou swings it wide. Magnuson a first-time cross. No one on the receiving end in whites. And UMass can move quickly. Sense thought about playing a ball over the top, but instead wisely leaves it along the ground for Willis. Willis's cross couldn't find its intended target. Delos off his line to beat Hughes to the other end. End-to-end stuff with just over 24 minutes to play, Jordan.
Yeah, Dartmouth still trying to get their first goal of the game. The Minutemen back line have continued to stay strong in this half. But I do think overall Dartmouth has looked better in the second half than they did in the first. It's just the Minutemen back line are just not letting anything get through them.
Dartmouth and UMass are exchanging verbal jabs, and that results in a clock stoppage with 23:33 remaining. I don't think they're happy about the way Gatesy played that ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really notice anything happen there. Oh, he was kind of toying with Jenkins a little bit. Waited for Jenkins ultimately get on top of him to pick it up.
And that goes both ways. That's why you see the gripes on either side. Gatesy's case, oh, that's a dangerous foot. But at the same time, Jenkins can argue that ball was still free. Gatesy hadn't picked it up yet. I was playing the ball. Either way, I think our referee, Adam Kilpatrick, did the right thing. Stopped the clock to give both sides a talking to. But he keeps the cards in his pocket. In a 4-0 match, neither side wants to get a player sent off, especially with more important matches upcoming.
And where Dartmouth is already missing 2 players tonight, as we mentioned, due to 2 yellow cards. You don't really want to put yourself in that really, what would you call it, situation again.
Coach O'Shaughnessy makes another substitution. Eider Baltinson replaces Ben Jenkins as he sees his first action in the second half. He did start, but he and Jenkins swapped spots midway through the first half. Jenkins taking over for him. UMass prepares for a long throw. Fordham hurls it towards the edge of the 6. Kelly couldn't flick it on. It finds Sense, tries his luck from distance. Deflects out of play off of Dartmouth.
UMass is continuing to be aggressive on the throw-ins. Whenever they get close enough to do so, they just throw it right into the box, almost kind of like you're treating it like a corner kick almost. Just throwing it right into the box and see what happens.
And they'll have another chance at it. Fordham delivers another long throw. Kelly nodded it towards the near post. Dartmouth survives the first wave. Ortiz keeps possession. Sense. Deflected straight away, but only as far as Hughes, who earns another corner. This is something UMass practices on the training pitch. They see this in a way as another type of set piece and they're treating all their long throws as such. They have well-worked routines. But now this, a more traditional set piece as Sense lines up the corner. Played towards the near post. Commotion, but nothing coming of it. UMass was not far off from extending their advantage to 5. The press is on following the Delos goal kick. Even a 4-0, you have to respect that UMass is sticking to their original tactics. But this time, Dartmouth finds a way to break it. Over the top, wanted Lolka, but there are 2 UMass bodies in the area, and Fordham sees his way out of trouble through Cuccinata. Purchase. Into space, Willis. One touched for Hughes, but his run mistimed.
UMass definitely has kept up the pressure they've had since the beginning of this game. They're not taking the foot off the gas pedal, trying to see how many they can try to find ultimately in the back of the net.
Unfortunately for the Minutemen, goal difference doesn't matter very much in non-conference play, but I'll tell you what, 2 wins in the last 4 by at least 4 goals speaks volumes just about how far they've come since the first match of the year until now. And they feel like they're ready to take on the A-10 one final time. Fortunately, both Fenton and Ortiz okay after that colliding of bodies. Both got ball.
That was just a clean play, but I feel like both of them hit the ball at the same exact time.
No argument on either side. That's just a tackle within the spirit of the match. Callahan into space for Fed as Dartmouth spreads things out. Brain overhits Magnuson, and the move fizzles out. Under 20 minutes remain. UMass has had the upper hand all night long, and it's reflected in the scoreline, a 4-0 advantage against Dartmouth. And with conference play on the horizon, they take on George Mason at home in their A-10 opener on Saturday. I have to imagine if they're watching this match, their coaching staff has figured out quite a few things they want to attack within the UMass 11.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with how good this UMass attack has been all season long, especially tonight.
Nice touch purchase for Ortiz as it opens up space for Alex Brown. UMass runs into traffic, but they still have it. Throw in upcoming and a pair of subs to boot. Check that, a third entered the picture. Originally it was 2. But then Brad Macchio joined that pairing, I should say.
Fortunately, looking at the Big Green side, you mentioned it in the pregame. This is the last non-conference game for the Minutemen, but on the Dartmouth side, they still have 2 more before their conference season starts on the 28th against Brown. They face Bryan on Saturday here at Burnham Field, which ends a 5 straight home streak here at Burnham Field, and then they go to Merrimack before they start off conference play. So
takes a deflection, and UMass adds their 5th. Matt Sense is claiming it at the moment. We'll see if it stays his. But either way, UMass is on cruise control. Jordan, I'll defer to you on this one. Does this goal belong to Sense, or is it an own goal?
I mean, it'll definitely go to Sense, but as you saw in the replay, it did deflect off a Dartmouth defender and found the back of the net. So ultimately, Sense gets credit with the goal, but it does go off a Dartmouth defender.
The official ruling is in. The goal belongs to Sense. Following that latest foul, Callahan and Baltinson have a word with Kilpatrick. How about the night Matt Sense has had? Alec Hughes will steal the headlines, and rightfully so because of his hat trick. But Sense assisted each of his first 2 goals, and he's in the middle of a 4-point night.
Yeah, definitely not a bad night for Sense. Always nice going home with a goal, but definitely when you can add a couple assists to your stat sheet in a game, makes it even better.
Came into this match with 2 points. He's since tripled his 2024 outlook. Or output, I should say. For Dartmouth, this is a teachable moment in the final 16 minutes and 40 seconds. They will, in all likelihood, not grab a point from this match, but now the attention shifts towards working some things out in a match scenario. Still 2 more non-conference matches upcoming. Bryant at home on Saturday and Merrimack the following Tuesday in North Andover, Massachusetts, before their conference opener against Brown on the 28th. So you still have time to work some things out. If you're going to lose a match like this, you want it in non-conference play.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of teams over the course of a season may have a game like this. Fortunately for Dartmouth, as you mentioned, Ryan, it happened in non-conference play, which if you want a game like this, you absolutely want it in non-conference play before you get to the conference season.
UMass is still moving. Willis backs off the edge of the 18 as numbers come helping. Can't evade his defender. Well won by Magnon as he connects with Callahan. Dartmouth has numbers going forward. Lolka inside the 18. Angled towards the touchline, but it's cut off. Macchio did so skillfully. Fed inside the 18. Caused some trouble, but there was Kelly to alleviate the pressure. And with that, both teams will make some substitutions. I anticipate the benches will be active in the final 15 minutes.
Now it's time for the Big Green to see what kind of players they have on their bench. And I guess we can say the same for UMass, too. In a 5-0 game, just under 15 minutes left in the second half.
Those subs come ahead of a Dartmouth throw-in, and the way they're lining this up, it might be a long throw. Lolka breaks towards the end line. His cross knocks off of Macchio, and a corner kick ahead for Dartmouth. This is the first time we've seen Oscar Magnuson line up over a corner. Good delivery, but the header not quite there.
Definitely a good setup by Magnuson on that corner. Probably one of the better setups we've had for the Big Green corner-wise in this game.
There have been a couple of tantalizing balls between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box, but Dartmouth just hasn't made the right connection on headers. Otherwise, Gatesy would have a little something to deal with. O'Malley aimed for Ivan Verlong, but nothing doing for UMass. Even up 5-0, the UMass pressure persists, nearly resulted in another Dartmouth giveaway, but took a deflection last off of a Dartmouth player, off of a UMass player, I should say. As UMass empties their bench, one thing to note, Alec Hughes is no longer out there. Both of his hat tricks have come in decisive UMass wins, and like against UMass Lowell 6 days ago, no thought to leave him on the pitch with the match in hand. Jonathan Preston at the edge of the 18 whiffed on his shot attempt, and UMass clears. Preston back on the pitch for the first time since his 5-minute cameo in the 4-1 win over FDU back on the 5th. Now gets another chance to strut his stuff with Ivy League play around the corner, similar to Will Lolka. Uno. The one-touch connection a little off, and UMass can take some time off the clock as they prepare for a throw-in. You saw it on Simeon Hagioryu's face. A lot of frowns over on the Dartmouth bench. Safe to say the match hasn't gone the way they've planned, but they still have 11 minutes and 25 seconds to salvage at least something positive. Whether it's a goal, whether it's a stretch of good moves down the fields, they're just in need of something positive with Bryant coming up. And oh, by the way, they're the defending AEC champion. It's not going to get any easier. Right at the edge of the 18, a shot blocked, sent back in. And a corner upcoming. Bryant Keeney was in the mix, his first real involvement of the match.
And you mentioned something positive for Dartmouth to come out of this game. Early on in the second half, it really looked like Dartmouth was almost going to keep this deficit at 3. If not, Dartmouth are going to add some. But they had good stretches in possession, but unfortunately, UMass just upped the ante again, and we're able to add 2 more to the deficit.
Dartmouth handled the Keeney corner well, but another one upcoming. Mike Willis has been their designated in-swinger taker with the left. And no surprise, he's back on corner kick duty. Lofted towards the back post. UMass nearly put one on frame, but Dartmouth was late to react, but did so in the nick of time. 10 minutes to go at Burnham Field.
UMass still doing a good job at closing out the spacing here. Even with the advantage they face, they're still doing a good job at closing out the extra space that the Big Green have. Not really allowing the Big Green to do much with it.
Team majority made up of substitutes on the pitch have executed the game plan well, just like the starters. And this is a learning moment for UMass as well. For a lot of guys that don't get as much playing time, like Dartmouth. These are players that are vying for minutes in A10 play, and this is a season magnified with this being UMass's last year as a member of the A10.
Yeah, definitely. And even with the game in hand for UMass, these players that come on, you know, that you impress any of your coaches can go a long way for the rest of the season. Especially when you're UMass and you're going to a really good A10 conference.
This is one they've had success in the past. 5 regular season titles, 3 tournament championships, both of those most recently in 2017. And they've made the NCAA tournament as recently as the spring of 2021 when they played the season in the spring due to COVID. Nothing doing for Ivan Ver as Dartmouth reorganized their defense in the nick of time, but still a corner kick to come. UMass lines up around Delos inside the 6. Keeney drives it in. Free at the near post, a back heel, and Delos there to get a save in. O'Malley on the second ball. Keeney. Macchio out wide. Plays it ahead, O'Malley, one-time cross. Strong hands from the keeper, Delos. Dartmouth wanted to go quick, but there is the UMass press once more. Restricted them immediately after that ball left Delos's right hand. And it forces another giveaway. A lot more fresh bodies on the pitch. Perhaps that plays into it. But this is a team that has had the same level of intensity from the start of this match up until now. Fenton works it wide. Lulka's long ball hit a UMass leg and it falls for Fordham. Speaking of which, it might get a little confusing in New York when UMass takes on Fordham University in their second A-10 match. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to say Fordham scores against Fordham.
It is true.
2 subs upcoming for Dartmouth.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Well, wonder no more. Pair of changes for Coach Oshani. Raul Vargas back in, while Falou and I makes his first appearance of the 2024 campaign. Long throw at the edge of the 18. Ver can't keep it in play with his flick-on header. There are more subs on the pitch than starters for both of these sides as we see out the final 5:37 at Burnham Field. Willis, long-range efforts. That never troubled Delos.
Tell him, Alex.
Jonathan Preston spurs the Dartmouth transition up the pitch. Lulka swings it towards the edge of the 18, but alert defending. Alex Brown there to nod it over the end line, but Dartmouth has a corner with 5 minutes to go. Andrew Ellis, the intended target. He made the run to occupy Brown.
Big Green did a good job at creating the extra space there really quickly to ultimately get this corner.
Fed whips it in, just a bit out of range of an eye. Dartmouth will have to reset from in front of their own bench. It's Cameron Brain. Fed drills it towards the edge of the 18. Fenton gets a chest to it, but he's offside. .406 remains at Burnham Fields. UMass 5, Dartmouth 0. Alec Hughes' hat trick has been the big story as he becomes the first player for the Minutemen to reach 10 goals this season. And he's only done it in 7 games. Dartmouth gives it away. Here is Braden Wright, the junior. Into space, Ver, he's well offside. To put that into perspective, Shane Velez is the next highest goal scorer. He only has 3. And Hughes had 3 goals tonight.
And one of the Velez's third goal came on, I believe it was the UMass's 3rd goal of the game.
Off that brilliant Leighton Purchase, no-look assist, no less. Preston muscles Joey Bianco off the ball. Can Dartmouth find the back of the net with 3 minutes remaining? With a matchup against the America East reigning champion Bryant Bulldogs coming up next.
It will look like this UMass offense relies on Alec Hughes, but in reality, this this Minutemen team does a great job at setting each other up for these opportunities. And Alec Hughes does a great job at anticipating what's going to happen next with the ball.
That's what makes him so dangerous. That's why he's such a threat playing in that striker position. Feels like he always puts himself in the right spot at the right time. Dangerous play around the corner flag. UMass have a free kick, and they will be in no rush to take this.
No, definitely not. 2 minutes left. Obviously, the game in hand now, 5-0 advantage. But there's really not much else you can say about how UMass came out and performed today. A great showing for them today. It's their second most goals they've scored in the season. Obviously, the first being their 7-1 victory over UMass Lowell. That saw Alec Hughes' first hat trick of the season.
Meanwhile, in net, Alex Gatesy is just over 90 seconds away from his fourth clean sheet. That would break a four-way tie for the most in the A10. He's been the unsung hero for this team early on. But in goal, if you don't hear your name called all that much, means you're having a good day. One last attack perhaps for Dartmouth. Vargas pressures Fordham, and his only option is to clear. Lolka gives it away. Keeney sprinting into open space. Ahead for Ver. It hit off of his heel and right to Fenton. Over the top. Brain seeked out and nothing doing. Still Dartmouth press forward with 39 seconds to go. Give them credit. They're still pressing for their opener. Ellis tries his luck. Strong hands, Gatesy. And that should just about do it. Finishes this match with one more save, and in the comparison that I'm sure everybody was anticipating, Gatesy and Delos end up tied with 4 saves apiece. Free kick upcoming for Dartmouth, but they will not have enough time to take it. This one is in the books at Burnham Field.
Yeah, UMass came out strong from the very beginning, scoring just 2 minutes into this one. Alex Hughes first of 3 goals. And at that point, it was hard for Dartmouth to really get anything going because UMass quickly, in the first 20 minutes, already had a 3-0 deficit.
UMass applied the early pressure, and it did not stop until the final whistle. A deserved 5-0 winner over Dartmouth at Burnham Field. That'll do it here on the campus of Dartmouth College. For our wonderful production crew, led by our director, Kelvin Kirkland, and for my broadcast partner, Jordan Jenkins, I'm Ryan Zimmerman, saying so long from Burnham Field, where the final score is UMass 5, Dartmouth 0. All games